Well, hey guys, we are back and the ring is done. And I actually, in the interim, realized I do have my silicone oven mitts. So I pulled one out so you can see them. So I love these. They are quilt lining. It's not really fleece, it's just like a quilted lining. And so they're very, very easy to use because they feel good on the inside. They don't feel weird, but they're silicone on the outside. I have a friend whose husband literally uses these to pull the turkey out of the fryer. So they're that heat safe. All right, so we have our wreath done here, and I went ahead and actually added some maraschino cherries to it while it was still warm so they would kind of set in there. And now we're going to add the drizzle. Now it's really not cool enough to completely add this drizzle because well, you're going to see it'll melt, but it's going to take a while for it to be totally cool, and I didn't want to wait till then for a number of reasons. So anyway, let's see if I can re-edit that out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got a cup of powdered sugar here and about a tablespoon of milk, which I've got in the mug here. I have this awesome little measuring cup available through our catalog that measures tablespoons in my kitchen in New York. I don't have anything like it here, so I just pre-measured into here. The trickiest thing about making this kind of a glaze is that we have a tendency to put too much liquid in too soon. So I am just going to pour this in, and it's just literally a tablespoon of milk for a cup of confectioner's sugar. But I don't know if you can see, it's already melting in there. And so of course I'm getting a slow battery or low battery warning. So anyway, so it's melting in there, and we're just going to mix this in. And I've got my whisk here. And again, it's better to have to add a little more than to have too much, because then you just keep having to add sugar and it gets to be kind of a pain. So I feel like this still could use just a little bit more. The recipe suggests that you put this into a Ziploc baggie and then snip the end to squeeze over the top of this. So that would be one alternative. I am going to add just a little more milk because it's really stuck on there. So the trick is, if you do need to add a little more liquid, to add it very smidgy at a time, just a couple of drops. We'll see if this will loosen up just a little bit more. Because what I want it to do is pour right out of this cup, which it should do if it's just the right thickness. Maybe I mismeasured my milk. It is very possible that I mismeasured. Okay, we are just going to grab a spoon. I think the spoon would have been the better choice from the start. Actually, the best choice would have been my mini whisk, but again, that is in New York. Okay. So this is it's almost a paste. It's so thick, and I want it just a little more drizzly than that. Although this would work. So what I love about, I'm using one of our silicone prep bowls, and they've got a little lip here. I don't know if you can see it. So you can pour right from it, which is what I was hoping to do. But I can see we're also just using the Ziploc baggie might be the better option. So let me show you how that's going to work. Okay, so you don't need a very big Ziploc baggie, but it does need to be sturdy. And I find even like this one has kind of a serrated bottom, or not, that's not the word I want. It's kind of a pleated, that's the word. All right. So we're going to just use this Ziploc bag, and a couple things to note about Ziploc bags. Actually, this is not a good one. We're going to get a different one. That's not going to be great. Okay, so we're going to use a Ziploc bag here, and a couple things that just little tips here. First of all, this is not the most ideal because it's got the pleated bottom, but it's what I've got to work with. You know what? Let me just see. Maybe this one. Okay, so we're gonna try using a Ziploc baggie. Now, I would prefer to use one this size, but this one has a pleated bottom, and that's just, it's not gonna work. So instead I've got a little snack bag here. Here's my best tip for filling a Ziploc baggie is to turn it kind of inside out over a cup. So just a drinking cup of any kind, and then you can kind of poke the inside in there and fill it with your frosting or whatever you're using. So this is almost working for it from this, but to get the really thick, definitive lines that you're going to see in the picture, this way is good. Another option, and what I would probably do if I were at home, is to use a decorator bag. Any of those will do. All right, and then we need a sharp pair of scissors. Bless my mother, she has all the vintage Pampered Chef. These are like 25 years old, no kidding, still work. So we're gonna seal this shut so we don't have it going everywhere. I do try to get as much air out as possible so that it just squeezes out better. And then we're going to just nip a teeny tiny corner off the edge. Now this is very much just like making sure you don't add too much milk, is making sure you don't clip off too much. Start small, and if it's not big enough, you can always cut a slightly bigger tip off. But I mean, it's teeny tiny. I don't know if you can tell, just a little teeny. And then we're gonna squeeze this on here. And I'm just gonna do a little bit for now because you're gonna see, because this is still pretty warm, it's going to melt. But you can make this look like it came from the bakery, and all you've done is taken a can of crescent rolls and baked them up with a few things added. So again, I'm gonna just finish squeezing this over the top. It's gonna melt, but you'll get the idea. And you can just, I mean, I think the simple zigzag is the nicest look, but you could do other things. You could do swirlies. You could give this to a child to do and let them be creative, whatever you like. All right. And then the final thing that, again, I would do if I were home, I'm sorry to keep making that excuse, is you could put a bow on it. I would just take a piece of grosgrain ribbon, a fabric ribbon, and tie it into a bow. The recipe talks about making a taffy bow. I don't know how you would do that, but if you know how to do that, go for it. I simply would just use regular fabric ribbon, tie it in a cute bow, stick it on the end, take it to your next family function, impress everybody, And you saw how easy it was to make. So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. And one last thing, I left these out sitting here because I do want to just talk about our knives because it is the season. Actually, I want to talk about cookware and knives, but we'll start with the knives. So I use this blue one here to cut the rolls because it has a really, really thin blade. But this is not actually the knife I would recommend. If you're going to buy a good chef's knife, buy a good chef's knife. This is what's called a stamped knife. They're great, they're sharp, they're very economically priced. This is a professional chef's knife. This is the knife my husband uses. It has the fully nibbed tang. It's very well balanced. It's got all the bells and whistles. These are the knives the men want and the men buy. So if you're buying for a guy, these are the ones they want. And if you're a guy shopping for a gal, do yourself, you both of you a favor and get the forged knives. They are just impeccably made. They rate so high above other knives of similar quality on the market. They like 40% higher, just crazy, amazing knives. Quickly, just also I want to mention our pots and pans. You know, this is the time of the year that I'll walk through a place like Walmart or Kohl's and I'll see the stacks of cookware and I see the men walking by and you know their wives want new cookware and so they'll buy them a new set of pots and pans for Christmas and they're really nice for a month or two or maybe 6 months, or if you're lucky you get a good year out of them, but after not too long of time they start looking awful. Do yourself a favor, get the Pampered Chef Brilliance cookware. It's beautiful, it's so nonstick. Your white sauce literally pours out of this. Like it just is amazing. Cheese sauce, anything, soup, it just pours out. There's barely a drip left in the pan. Things don't stick, things don't scald. They are dishwasher safe, they are oven safe, they are very nicely balanced. My husband, the chef, loves them. The smaller pans have a vented lid, so you can strain your pasta and vegetables and such with the lid on. And the lid is glass, so you can see what's cooking as it's cooking. They're fantastic. They have a 10-year warranty, and your wife will love them. So, or your husband, if he does the cooking. My son literally just ordered these for himself during our Black Friday sale because he was using them in my kitchen over Thanksgiving and was like, yep, these are the pans I need. And I said, yep, you're right, they are. So fantastic cookware at fantastic prices. If you want to know how to get it for even less, you know, think about hosting a show, you can get things for 60% off, including the cookware. That is a great gift, not just to yourself, but also to your budget. And I would be happy to help you make that happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some inspiration for your holiday baking and have a good day.